How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Chaos Child. So, we have a bit of a mystery on our hands, a little bit of a different mystery than the main plot was able to provide us in the common route. I don't even know what is going on with the actual main plot, but there is definitely something going on here that is, at least in my opinion, totally separate. So, Arimura is believing that her brother is alive and well, and wanting revenge, as anyone who's alive and well would most likely would like to do. And that's really the main mystery here. Other than the fact that people are dying that either look like Arimura or are Arimura's family members, seem to be getting targeted. And of course, Arimura is also targeted by whoever the killer is, who I believe the prime suspect, at least for me, is her brother. But I guess the question is also, is her brother actually alive? Or is Arimura crazy and is there some other killer out there? Who the hell knows? Hopefully we'll be able to figure that out as we continue on. The next day, Arimura came to school and... she was back to normal.
Oh.
いやー、皆さんいつも仲良しさんで羨ましいっすね。私も文芸部やめて新聞部入っちゃおっかな。何言ってんの。もううちの部員みたいなもんじゃん。ねえ、タク。
そうだな。
本当っすか？じゃあ新聞部員ってことにしちゃおっかな。あれ？でも掛け持ちってできたんですっけ？
もちろん申請さえ出せば認められるわよ。
なるほどなるほど。
部活入っちまえば宮代と一緒にいる口実だってできるしな。
なんだよそれ。別に僕たちは。
まあまあ、照れない照れない照れない照れない
ってお前が言うな。
I hadn't seen Arimura this chipper in a while. It felt a little forced, sure, but it was still a good sign.
あ、そうだ。ねえ、ヒカリオにチョコレートバーができるのって知ってます？チョコレートバーって当たりが出たらもう一本ってやつ？違う、それはチョコパッツでしょうが。
チョコレートバーってあれよね。イートインなんかもある。
そうそう、それです。オープンしたらみんなで。
And then she stopped. Ah, no. I had a bad feeling.
ひなちゃん？いや。
She froze.
有村!
I quickly grabbed her before she could fall over.
おい、どうした？
気を失ってるわ。タクル、すぐに保健室へ連れて行きなさい。
As I picked her up, I glanced in the direction she'd been looking.
おい、何があったんだ?
Yeah, it's a good question, man. Kawahara was standing there. He'd happened to be passing by and was looking at us in surprise. There was no one else around.
タク、ひなちゃんどうだった？
ちょっと疲れてるんだろうって話。ひとまず保健室で休ませろって。
そっか。
I knew what had happened. She'd seen him again. Maybe she'd mistaken Kawahara for her brother. And that seems to be the,
タクル、
likely prediction
有
here.
村さん、何かあったの？
何かって。
ちょっと様子がおかしかったような気がするんだけど。
ああ、それ私も思った。普段よりも無理してる感大きいっていうか。
マジで？俺全然気づかなかったけど。
Was it okay to tell them? Even Kazuki had stopped playing ESO2 and came over to me with a look of concern on her face.
なんだよ和樹、お前も気になるのか。分かったよ。
I told them all everything that had happened to Arimura over the past few days. That she said her brother was still alive, that he was trying to get revenge on her.
ね
It was Sarika who spoke first.
え、ひなちゃんのお兄さんって本当に生きてるの？
I don't believe so.
いえ、亡くなっていると聞いてるけど。
でも本人は生きてると思っちまってるんだろ。
僕にもわからない。ただ確かなのは有村の周りで実際に事件が頻発しているということだ。
If there were dead bodies, that means somebody had killed them.
思うんだけど、まずはそのお兄さんのことについてちゃんと調べてみた方がいいんじゃないかしら。
でも調べるったってどうやって？
お兄さんは地震で亡くなったんでしょ？だったら。
I went with Kirisu's suggestion and visited the earthquake memorial with Sarika. The memorial bore the names of everyone who died in the quake. I was worried about Arimura, but Kirisu said that she'd taken her home. It was probably safe to let her handle it.
どう？タク。
待ってくれ。確か。
His name was supposedly Arimura Shingo. Looking at the memorial, I was reminded of how many people had died during the earthquake. My parents, Sarika's parents, and Kirisu's and Yui's parents all had their names here too.
有村。
見つけたか？
ほら、ここ。
Arimura Shingo. From the age when he died, it was safe to assume that this was him. But this didn't mean anything for sure. The damage from the Shibuya earthquake had been incredible. Some people had been declared dead without their bodies ever being found. And in some cases, those people had later been found committing crimes. So, to be sure, I...
ああ、もう来てたのか。待たせたな。すまない。
すみません、急に。
I contacted Shinjo and had him meet me here, excuse me.
いや、例の事件のことならこっちもできるだけ情報を知っておいた方がいい。いかに些細なことであろうとね。
Lately, I'd been starting to think that Detective Shinjo might be a lot better at his job than he looked. Oh, absolutely, he seems very dependable. I mean, there are some, points, especially in the common route, where it's like, come on, man. But I like him, he's relatable. Of course, maybe people like him never really fit in an organization and couldn't grow to their full potential.
で、聞きたいのは有村ひなえの兄についてだったな。
はい。
担当直入に言おう。有村ひなえの兄、有村慎吾は亡くなっている。
それは確かですか？
間違いない。彼女の兄は渋谷地震の際、住んでいたマンションの倒壊に巻き込まれ死亡した。
Was there a body that was recovered, though?
遺体発見の際は遺族の確認も行われたとのことだ。
Okay, there we go.
ひなちゃんはお兄さんの遺体を。
有村ひなえ本人が見たかどうかまでは俺の方でもちょっとな。だが死んでいるのは間違いない。
そうですか。
So he wasn't just declared dead when they couldn't find his body then?
一応写真も借りてきたが、見るか？
No, I think I'm good. I looked at it just in case, but I was surprised to find that he didn't really look like Arimura. I'd never seen him before.
じゃあ、
Well, there's a reason for
ひな
that.
ちゃんのお兄さんが生きてるっていうのは。
やっぱり有村の思い込みか。
Or perhaps.
まあ、身の回りであれだけ事件が起きた挙句、父親があんな姿になったとなれば、憔悴するのも無理のないことだ。 現に彼女の母親もかなり参っているしな。
そうですか。
今は友人である君たちがしっかりと様子を見てやってくれ。
Shinjo seemed to think he might gain some clue by hearing what we had to say about Arimura, but he ended up going back to the station with barely anything to show for it. He didn't tell us anything about the police considering her as a suspect. By the time I got home that day, the sun had set. I'd stopped to buy some Mountain View at the convenience store like always. When I opened the door, bag in hand, I realized that something was wrong.
誰かいる?
I could sense someone in the back of the dark room. Could it be that I was next?
誰だ?
It doesn't matter what route we're in, Takuru is gonna wonder if he's gonna get killed next. I was sure of it. Someone was there.
いるのは分かってるんだぞ。出てこい!
I tried to yell loudly to make myself feel stronger, but it didn't work. A figure slowly stood up in the darkness, and the next moment it charged at me. It was so sudden I couldn't move. No, there was no time to get away.
Arimura.
How'd she get in? How did anyone get in? Arimura leapt into my arms.
どうして?
Kirisu had said that she'd taken her home.
私、ここにいちゃいけませんか？他のところは怖くて。
怖くてって。でも、下宿先のおじさんやおばさんが心配するんじゃん。
平気です。どうせあの人たちだって私を疎ましく思ってるんですから。
Was that something she knew?
だからお願いです。ここにいさせてください。
でも。
ダメですか?
There were tears in her eyes. For the old Arimura, that might have been an act. But now...
わかったよ。
本当ですか?
This wasn't an act.
そうだ先輩、早く中に入ってください。ほら早く。
いや、そんなせかさなくても。
そうだ、ここに来るまでに誰かにつけられたりしませんでした？
それはないと思うけど。
Yeah, I mean, we were just leisurely walking back from the store with some fucking caffeinated drinks. Of course we're not going to be looking around to make sure nobody's following us.
そうですか。でも注意してくださいね。あと何か貼るものないですか？ガムテープとか。
ガムテープ？何に使うんだ？
窓とか隙間とかに貼るんです。お兄ちゃんが入ってこないように。
何言ってるんだよ。そんなところから入って。
At first I thought she was joking and laughed. But then I saw that she was serious.
ほら、あそこ隙間空いてますよ。それからあっちも。ね、ちゃんと隙間を埋めておかないと。きっとどこからでも入ってきちゃうから。
有村。
She told me before that her brother was alive and bent on revenge. But now I realize that it didn't matter whether he was alive or not. Her brother was after her. That was all that mattered.
わかった。それはまた明日にでもやろう。今日はもう遅いから。
She was still scared, but I managed to calm her down enough that she dropped the subject. But even as it got later, all she did was look outside and shiver. Morning came without either of us getting much sleep. Well, yeah, we're stuck on the floor. Of course we're not going to get much sleep. Alright, so to November 3rd now. Oh, she's asleep. Cool. That's nice. I met the morning with the sound of chirping sparrows and the quiet snoring of a girl. I'd always thought that if that ever happened to me, it would be wonderful. Who could have imagined it would feel like this? She'd only just fallen asleep and it was already 10 o'clock a.m. I was worried about leaving her here by herself, but there was something I wanted to check.
釣れ ななら先に来て待っておるぞ。
なんですか？
この前とは違う女とはたわけた顔をしてなかなかやるもんよな。
What is up with you?
別にそんなんじゃ。
We don't even know this person's name. I just realized that. No, that didn't matter. There was no harm in letting her have the wrong idea. I needed to do what I'd come here for first. Just like the waitress had said, the person I was here to meet had already arrived. She was reading something and frowning like always.
人を呼び出しておいて遅いご登場だな。
She looked up from her book and spoke to me curtly.
すみません。
で、聞きたいことというのは何だ？
I sat down and ordered, and she got straight to the point. It was clear she didn't want to waste any time on small talk.
その久野里さんは一応脳とか精神について詳しいんですよね。
一応とは失礼だな。これでも脳科学専門でやっている。
じゃあ専門家としての意見を聞きたいんですけど。
Harimura's actions over the past few days had gone well beyond what anyone would consider normal. No matter how much I tried to convince her that her brother was dead, she refused to believe. No, it felt like she didn't even want to believe. Harimura was the only one who had seen her brother to begin with. None of us had seen him, which meant that maybe it was all in her head after all. But then what was the cause? I could have looked it up on the internet, but not with Harimura in the room. And it was better to ask a specialist than just trying to figure it out based on some web pages.
一番大きいのは精神的なストレスだろうな。
Kunasato furrowed her brow when I finished talking to her.
でもそれだけであんなにも怯えたりするものですか？
今、君が語った状態の有村ひなえと直接話したわけではないから、これはあくまでも可能性の問題でしかないが、一種の強迫性障害、俗に言う強迫観念が原因とも考えられる。
強迫観念ですか？
犯罪心理学は私の専門ではないのだが。
She warned me before she continued.
殺人事件を起こした人物が自ら殺めた人間の影、つまり霊的な存在に怯えるというのは稀にあることらしい。
Ghost? That would be Arimura's brother in this case. Arimura felt so guilty over her brother's death that she was seeing him in hallucinations. That was fine. Well, no, it wasn't fine, but it was fixable. But there was another possibility that I was afraid of. The idea that had suddenly come to me last night. If I said it aloud, if I gave it shape, something might change. And in a bad way.
じゃあ例えば。
Despite my premonition, I couldn't keep myself from saying it.
自分では気づいていないのに死んでしまった誰かになり変わって復讐をする、そういうことは。
Oh no, bro. Kunasato must have understood exactly what I meant. She put down her coffee cup and looked at me.
まさかお前、有村ひなえが兄になり変わり父親を殺したと、そう言いたいのか？
あくまでも可能性としてそういうことはあるのかと聞きたいだけです。
Well, I'm no specialist myself, but I did take one criminology course at the university level. And yeah, I have no idea.
ありえないことじゃない。
そうですか。
Okay, well, what I do know is that a lot of people have committed crimes without being completely conscious of it. And it really does vary case to case. But again, I'm seriously no specialist here. What, the guy that shot up that movie theater quite a few years ago? I guess not quite a few years ago, but not too long ago. I believe that was actually a case of not being completely conscious of doing it. Like, obviously he was there, but there was something else there too. Definitely worth looking up if there's any like documentary sort of videos or anything, interviews, whatever, stuff from the court. I've been feeling that way ever since I'd seen her last night. She'd said that her brother had died because of her, but she also said that it was her mom and dad's fault. Perhaps Arimura blamed herself for her brother's death so much that she started hallucinating visions of him. And maybe that started to escalate until unconsciously she thought she was her brother, and then she killed her father. Of course, she said she'd been attacked too. In that case, she would be lying, but then why would we have seen those scenes? Why would we be shown something false? I know this game is really good at, like, you know, throwing us into a false direction, but every scene that we've seen, that sounds wrong, everything that we've seen in the game has happened as far as I can tell. Unless it's a delusion that has not come true. When the thought had first come to me, it had seemed impossible. I tried to tell myself I was overthinking things, but once a thought came to you, it was impossible to be rid of it. The more you told yourself not to think about it, the more you started to think that maybe it was true. What was the truth and what was a lie?
教えてほしいのは僕の方だ。
Hmm.
宮代先輩
Arimura leapt into my arms as soon as I opened the door.
ひどいです。私を置いて出かけるなんてどこへ行ってたんですか？
悪い。ちょっと買い物とかさ、いろいろ必要だと思って。ほら、お腹空いただろ。
I took out the sandwiches and rice balls I'd bought at the convenience store.
急にいなくなると心配するじゃないですか。
大丈夫だよ。
Yeah, maybe we should leave like a note next time or, you know, text her. Communication is key.
いや、なんでもない。
Don't think about it. It's impossible. It's...
ちゃんと気をつけましたか？
気をつけるって何に？
決まってるじゃないですか。この場所が兄にバレないようにです。
だから大丈夫だって。誰も追いかけてきたりなんてしないよ。
でも兄は私を探してます。だから
I looked away. I couldn't do it. I couldn't bear to see her like this. Can't we just hug her and call it a day? Yep, there we go. I grabbed Arimura by the shoulders and looked straight into her eyes.
先輩。
いいか、有村。お兄さんは死んだんだよ。警察にも確認した。君のお兄さんは確かに死んでいる。死んだ人間は生き返ったりしないんだ。
でも私は確かに兄に襲われたんです。それは本当なんです。
有村。
先輩は信じてくれないんですか？私の言うこと嘘だってそう思ってるんですか？
Now, hold your horses here, you crazy bitch. It's not that we think that you're lying. Not necessarily. I definitely believe that she was attacked. Something happened to her, and something currently is happening to her. Something is happening around her. However, I don't think that her dead brother is doing these actions.
そんなことない。信じるけど。
Arimura looked at me with her eyes wide. It was only then that I realized I made a terrible mistake.
嘘。
Ah, god damn it.
有村。
And that's why you should have explained things like I did.
先輩は私の言ってること信じてくれてないんですね。
Arimura shook off my hands, and tears began to pour down from her big eyes.
違うんだ、有村。今のは。
Hey, at least we're confirming that her eyes are anime-like big. I tried to calm her down, but she smacked my hand away.
先輩まで私に嘘をつくんですね。
有村。
先輩までパパやママやお兄ちゃんみたいに私に嘘をつくんですね。
聞いてくれ有村。
嫌です。聞きたくなんてありません。私はもう
有村!
She slipped past my hand and ran out of the RV. And then she ran out of the park without looking back. I probably should have chased after her, but I hesitated, and then I got a mountain view. If it was Arimura who killed her dad, when I thought about that, I couldn't follow her.
Oh, Taku! えらく賑やかだな。
You're already drunk, aren't you?
ケンさん。
ところで例のものまた持ってきてやったぞ。
ケンさん、悪いけど今はいらない。
なんだよ。せっかく持ってきてやったんだぞ。金は後でもいいから。
今はいいって言ってるだろ。帰ってくれ。
タク。
Aw, poor Gen. What was I doing? Arimura Hinae was in a hospital room. Well, another glimpse of the past here, I believe. It took her a while to figure out what she was doing lying in a hospital bed. But when she did, she remembered everything that had happened. She wanted to believe it was a dream. But the bandages around her body and the pain from her injuries told her that it wasn't.
パパとママは
She looked around for her parents. She staggered out of the bed and finally saw them in the hallway. They were each talking to someone on the phone and trying to hide from the other as they did. Hinae could tell that they were talking to their lovers. Damn, like right there too, like holy shit. How could they be doing that now, when her brother was dead?
こんな時に何してるのママ。
The next thing she knew, she was taking her anger out on her mom.
ひなちゃん、目が覚めたのね。よかった。
That was a lie.
お兄ちゃんが死んだんだよ。それなのになんでそんなことできるの？落ち着いたひなちゃん。ママは今大事な電話をしてたのよ。だから。
That was a lie.
ねえ、どうしてあの時お兄ちゃんを助けに来てくれなかったの？お兄ちゃんまだ生きてた。パパとママが来てさえくれてたら助け出せたかもしれないのに、どうして来てくれなかったのよ？
Yeah, he may have been paralyzed for the rest of his life, but there was, I think, more of a chance of being able to save him if, you know, they actually came and didn't lie about the fact that he was dead when he wasn't, too. He was still kicking.
私たちだって助けようとしたわ。あなたが来る前に。でも無理だったの。
And not to say kicking in like a way like, you know, he lost his legs or anything. Yeah, you know. That was a lie.
じゃあなんであの時もうダメだって。あなたまで巻き込みたくなかったのよ。ああでも言わないとあなたが中に入っていくと思ったから。嘘。ひなちゃん。
Hinae had grabbed her mom before she even knew it.
嘘ばっかり。ママが言ってるのは全部嘘。ひなちゃん、やめなさい。なんでそんな嘘ばっかり言うの？なんで本当のこと言ってくれないの？そんな嘘なんて私聞きたくない。嘘ばっかりついてないで言ってよ。本当のこと言いなさいよ。どうしてお兄ちゃんを見捨てたの？なんで殺したの？言っ
It was the first time she'd seen her mother's face like that. It was a scary face with all the false kindness wiped away. It was a woman's face.
全部あんたのせいでしょうが。あんたがまだ中にいると思って、それで信号は。あんたがいないって分かってたら、あの子は死ななかった。それをどうして助けなかったって。冗談じゃない。全部あんたのせいじゃないのよ。
Okay, so you should never, ever, ever say that. That was the truth. It was the first true thing her mother had told her, and the truth destroyed her.
私のせい。
Shingo had gone out to buy a present for Hinae, just like she'd done. And then the earthquake had happened. He'd run back home, found the building half collapsed, and then ignored his parents' warnings and gone inside. He believed that she was there, and that's how he'd been killed.
私のせい。私のせいでお兄ちゃんは。
Well that's not good. The whole world shook. Everything she knew fell apart. And then, Hinae lost everything. Including her sanity, which we are now seeing.
うちのクラスに何か？
いや、有村は。
今日は来てませんけど。
そうですか。どうも。
The next day, just like I thought, Arimura hadn't come to school. It was after school and the club room was still empty. Was it really Arimura who killed her father? Maybe I needed to go back over everything that had happened just to get it clear in my head, excuse me. First, the data and locations of the New Generation Madness murders. There were 4 murders. Don't Look at Me in Jinan, Leaky Noise in Shinsen, and then Revolving Dead at Fairy's Dance, a place I would never forget. Then there was the Gatsuon death case, which had also occurred right in front of us. Yeah, good so far. The problem was what came next. All the murders after Gatsuon death. There were 3 victims. The first victim was, that's right, a headless body that was burnt to death. The next victim was Ishida Moe, a student at Hekiho Academy. And finally, Arimura Kochiro, or however you pronounce that, Arimura Hinae's father. That was the order.
やっぱりだ。
Looking back at the cases, it was clear that there was no relationship between the first murders and the last 3. The first 4 cases had been extremely bizarre. The latter ones were brutal, but fairly ordinary. And more than anything, there were the sumo stickers. I'd been so relieved that they were gone that I'd been slow to pick up on it, but there were no sumo stickers anywhere to be found near the sites of the last 3 murders. In other words, they were 2 completely separate groups. And Ishida Moe had been a huge fan of Arimura Hinae. Koichiro was her father. In a broad sense, these 2 were both related to Arimura. Then there was the headless burnt body. They hadn't identified the body yet, but maybe...
となると、やっぱり。
I turned around at the sound of the door opening and saw Kazuki standing there.
なんだ、和樹か。
And I thought about getting a second opinion, but with Kazuki, that wouldn't be possible. I went to turn back to the board. And I realized that Kazuki was staring at me.
どうかしたのか。
Surprisingly, Arimura had taken a liking to the silent Kazuki, and Kazuki didn't seem to mind her either. The 2 of them had built up a unique friendship. Maybe Kazuki was worried about Arimura too. Hmm?
Eh?
What was that? Did Kazuki talk?
おい、和樹、今。
Come to think of it, she talked once before. Last time it felt like she'd been so caught up in Arimura's energy that she'd spoken without thinking. No, that didn't matter.
和樹、今、なんて。
私のせいかも。
Her fault? This time I could hear her clearly.
私のせいって何がだ。
前にひなさんがお兄さんの話をして、その時に私が聞いたからかも。
聞いたって何を。
お兄さんに会いたいって。
Oh no, that's right. She was talking about that in the last episode. I had no idea what Kazuki was talking about. Why would it be her fault for asking if Arimura wanted to see her brother?
和樹、ちゃんと説明してくれなきゃわからない。どういうことだ。
Yeah, let's get this story
だっ
straight.
て私も能力者だから。
Excuse me?
能力者。
Wait a minute. Are we actually getting back on track here? Wait.
能力者っていうのはもしかしてギガロマニアックスだっていうのか。
God damn it.
和樹か。
うん。私がお兄さんに会いたいって聞いちゃったから。だからひなさん、お兄さんの姿を。
Holy shit.
ひなさん優しいから。だから私もお話ししたくて。でも私また取り返しのつかないことしちゃったかも。
Not only was Kazuki not used to talking, she was sobbing too. It was hard to get anything out of her. But I understood what she was trying to say. Arimura was seeing her brother because Kazuki had asked if she wanted to see him. And that this was because of her power as a gigalomaniac. Of course, it was possible that Kazuki was joking or mistaken. But damn, I'm so glad that like everybody in the same fucking club is a gigalomaniac except for Ito, who was just used. What are the odds? From the look of things, it didn't seem that way. Is it weird that I kind of predicted that Kazuki was also a psychic? I think it was because, like the promotional stuff for Chaos Child, especially the anime, included her alongside all the other females, and of course Takuru. All the other females are gigalomaniacs, as we've come to see in the common route. So I kind of pieced that and those things together, or whatever, and excuse me. Yeah, I sort of predicted that maybe she was a gigalomaniac, but that never happened in the main story. That never happened in the main plot, so I kind of gave up on that idea. And here it is in a completely different story, completely separate from the main plot, and she's actually revealed to us that she's a gigalomaniac. That's insane. Holy shit.
有村の言っていたことは本当だった。
I didn't know if the brothers she'd seen had really killed her father, but some power of Kazuki's had caused Arimura to see her brother. It wasn't a hallucination or a mistake. But then who had killed her father?
Miyashiro!
Uh-oh. It's the one psychic it's the one guy who's not a psychic in the newspaper club, Ito, but he is mind-controlled. Suddenly the door burst open and Ito rushed inside.
なんだよ。今考え事してるんだ。話なら後にしてくれ。
ほう。その様子じゃ、やっぱ知らねえみてえだな。そっかそっか。状況様ともあろうものが。ほう、そうですか。
知らないって。何がだよ。
いや、いいって。今考え事してんだろ。だったら後にするよ。
なんだよその言い方。気になるだろ。教えろよ。
教えてください。だろ。
Now is not the time, Ito.
わかったよ。悪かったよ。何があったのか教えてください。
なんか気持ちがこもってねえな。
Oh my god, hurry up. Asshole. Just before I started to get really mad though, the door opened once more and Sarika ran in.
聞いたタク、新しい事件が起きたって。
あ、尾上、それ。
新しい事件？もしかしてまた。
殺人事件。
She says happily. It couldn't be.
それ俺が今から言おうとしたやつ。
I ignored that idiot Ito and ran up to Sarika.
それで殺されたのは？
I ended up almost grabbing her. Sarika looked a little scared.
あ、
いいから教えてくれ。殺されたのは誰だ？
確か40代の女の人だって。
Oh no. A woman in her 40s.
ひょっとして有村のお母さんじゃないだろうな。
ひなちゃんのってどうして？
違うよ。それだったらいくら俺だってもっと早くに言ってる。
It wasn't? Then it wasn't someone who was related to Arimura? Did it have nothing to do with the others or... Uh-oh. Could it be...
Arimura?
I grabbed the phone out of my pocket and looked at the name on the screen. But it wasn't who I hoped it was.
Miyashiro-kun ka? Shinjo da.
I could hear tension in his voice and it scared me.
急に電話なんて何かあったんですか？
つい数時間前に渋谷界隈で新たな事件があったのは知っているか？三上ひな子という40代の女性が殺された事件だ。
はい。ちょうど今その話をしていたところで。
その事件の容疑者が判明した。
Oh no, dude. It's Arimura, isn't it? A suspect.
一体誰なんです？
いいか、よく聞け。10月25日に石田萌を殺害し、続く26日に有村光一郎を殺害。さらに昨夜、三上ひな子を殺害したと思われる一連の事件の容疑者は。
Oh, don't do that. Come on, just say it.
有村ひなえの母親だ。
Oh, wait, what? Huh? Huh, well, I wasn't expecting that.
タクル、どう？
ダメだ、繋がらない。
Kiritsu and the others had arrived in the club room afterward, and I'd filled them in the situation. We tried calling her, but with no luck. Maybe she didn't want to answer my calls.
くそ、僕のせいだ。僕が有村を疑ってしまったから。
今はそんなこと言ってる場合じゃないでしょ。そうだよ。早くひなちゃんの居場所を突き止めなきゃ。
そうは言っても電話したって出てくれないし、どこにいるのかもわからないんだ。このままじゃ。
でもどうにかするしかないじゃない。何かいい方法を考えましょう。
A way. There was no way. And then someone handed me a phone.
和樹？
つながったかも。ひなさんに。
I grabbed the phone and put it up to my ear.
もしもし。もしもし。
有村か？僕だ、宮代だ。
先輩。
待て、切るな。切らないで聞いてくれ。疑って悪かった。有村は間違っていなかった。間違っていたのは僕だ。だから謝る。この通りだ。
先輩。
今すぐ会えないか。会って話したいことがあるんだ。
今は無理です。
どうして？
今からお母さんと会う約束をしてるんです。
Oh fuck.
だからその後なら。
ダメだ有村、行くな。その約束は。
Why did she hang up? That dumb bitch.
タク、ひなちゃんは？
切れた。
I called back, but she didn't answer. She either wasn't getting a signal or she turned off her phone. Either way, we had no way of contacting her.
有村のやつ、今から母親に会うって。
おい、それってまずいんじゃねえか。
どこで会うかわからないの？
今の時間でそこまで聞き出せるわけないだろ。
何か手がかりはないの？二人で一緒に行ったところとか思い出の場所とか。
バカ言うなよ。母親と会うのにそんなところ。
Wait. I thought I'd heard. Yeah, I heard something too. I'd heard a sound on the other side of the phone. That was probably a train. I remembered my conversation with Shinjo as I ran.
有村の母親？有村のお母さんが犯人だって言うんですか？
石田萌え殺し以降の事件についてはほぼ間違いないと見ていい。それからその前の焼死体についてもおそらくは。
Serica and the others had insisted I put the phone on speaker mode, and I did that before I continued.
でも有村のお母さんがどうして？
有村家が家庭として破綻していたのは知っているか？
まあ、なんとなくは。
It was easy to imagine after what Arimura had told me.
有村ひなえの父親と母親はそれぞれ別の相手、いわゆる愛人がいて、事実上生活の基盤はほぼそっちにあったらしい。ところが20年近く続いていた有村めぐみと愛人との仲は先月の頭に突如破綻。どうやらその頃から彼女の様子は少しおかしくなっていたようだ。当初自分を捨てた愛人へ向けられていた憎悪は次第に自らの家庭と夫に向けられるようになった。そもそも家庭が幸せであれば、夫がしっかりしてさえいれば自分が外で浮気することもなかったと。
そんな。
Kirisu had raised her voice in anger at Arimura's mother's selfish actions.
やがてその考えはエスカレートし、最終的には娘である有村ひなえに向けられるようになったらしい。
どうして有村に？
有村ひなえこそが有村家がバラバラになる決定的な要因であり、また有村めぐみが愛人と別れることになった原因でもあったからだそうだ。
Arimura's real father was her mother's lover. Of course her dad knew this. Her birth had caused a rift in the Arimura family. It had essentially ceased to be a family at all. What was worse was that strange power that Arimura had. She seemed to have it under control now, but at first she hadn't known how to handle it. As a result, her mother had come to fear and loathe her.
精神的に不安定になった有村めぐみは自分を捨てた愛人を殺害し、首を切断した上で遺体を焼却。
So that was the first murder.
さらには自らの不幸の原因となった娘有村ひなえと夫有村光一郎の殺害を目論んだ。第二の被害者である石田萌は有村ひなえと間違われ誤って殺されたと警察では見ている。
Yeah, that's what I was sort of thinking.
そして彼女は現在警察の手を逃れ、娘である有村ひなえの殺害を企てていると考えられる。
Off we go to save the day. It was her mother, Arimura Megumi, who'd killed her father. And now her mother was trying to kill her too. And then there were the phantoms of her dead brother. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. I may have done something terrible. All I could do now was find Arimura as fast as possible and stop her from meeting with her mom. My lungs were already at their limit. My lack of exercise had caught up with me, and my legs weren't doing what I told them to. But I had to keep going. Because I was sure. I think what I heard was... Arimura was probably around here somewhere. Damn, we actually went to the right spot. Hell yeah, I heard her. That voice was definitely Arimura's. Where? Where was she?
決まってるでしょ。あんたのせいだからよ。
こうだ。
Takuru to the rescue.
Mama?
I looked for my mom where she said she'd be. I was so surprised when she'd suddenly texted me. I'd never thought that she'd actually want to see me. At first I thought there was no way I'd ever meet her. I couldn't believe what she said either. I was so sad to lose your father that way. But maybe she really meant it. I hadn't talked to my mom in a long time. Mom had started avoiding me when she realized I had the power to tell when she was lying. So I didn't know what had happened to her and Dad since then, and I didn't care. I'd figured that after my brother's death, they hadn't tried to get back together. They both split off to do their own thing. But maybe she'd changed. Maybe Dad's death had made her rethink things. So I decided to do what she hoped I would. It was the last wish I had left. So I'd come to meet my mom. And I'd immediately regretted it. Yeah, I'm sure.
来てくれて嬉しいわ。
She really meant it.
ずっと会いたかったのよ。
She meant that too.
パパが亡くなって、ママにとって大切なのはあなただけ。
A lie.
これからはママと二人、ずっと一緒よ。
Sorry, I was drinking the rest of my water, because this is about to get juicy. That made no sense. A lie.
さあ、もっとこっちに来て。その可愛い顔をよく見せて。
I should have said that things were about to get heated. That would have worked a little better. Lie, lie, lie. All lies.
ねえ、ママ。
I said.
どうしてそんな嘘つくの？
嘘じゃないわ。ママは本当にあなたのこと。
嘘よ。私にはわかる。わかるもん。ママが本当のこと言ってないって。
ひなちゃんこそ、どうしてそんなこと言うの？ママはこんなにあなたのこと愛しているのに。
それも嘘。
Mom looked surprised for a second, but then she looked down at her feet and didn't say anything. Maybe I'd said too much?
ママ。
Uh-oh.
わかったわよ。だったら本当のことを言ってあげる。
ママ。
Was this her real voice?
あんたのせいよ。
This was her real voice.
だいたい最初から慎吾さえいなければパパと結婚しなくてもよかったのに。
Mom's words.
だけどあんたはあの人との子だから大切にしてあげたのに。それなのにあんたみたいな子が生まれたせいで私の人生はめちゃくちゃよ。
Totally true.
産まなきゃよかった。 慎吾もあんたみたいな気持ちの悪い子もみんな生まれてこなきゃよかったのよ。
She was telling the truth.
だから消えてちょうだい。ママの前から、私の前から消えて。
The words I wanted to hear. The words I didn't want to hear. Well, which is it?
ほらね、慎吾もそう望んでるわ。
お兄ちゃん。
そうよ、お兄ちゃんがね、毎日ママのところに来て言うのよ。痛い、死にたくなかったって。
お兄ちゃん。
全部あんたたちのせいよ。したくもない結婚をしたのも、家庭がめちゃくちゃになったのも、私の幸せを奪ったのも、全部あんたたちのせい。あんたたちが生まれたから、あんたみたいな化け物が生まれたから。だからあの人も。
She was telling the truth. This was the truth that I wanted to hear. But if this was the truth, then
私の気持ち分かってくれるでしょう。だったらね。
Mom took something out of her bag. The towel it was wrapped in fell off, and I could see a big, or a little bit, of sunlight glinting off the exposed metal. Even if I knew what it was, I couldn't move. The truths that I'd just heard had shocked me so much that I couldn't move.
あなたさえいなければ、私は幸せになれるの。
Mom smiled. It was the first time I'd seen her real smile.
ママ。
バイバイ、ひなちゃん。
Damn, this is fucked. She came closer. She looked so happy. There was nothing I could do but wait for her embrace. Oh no, were we late?
有村はこの辺りに。
全部あんたのせいよ。
And that voice.
全部あんたたちのせい。あんたみたいな化け物が生まれたから。
It was Arimura's. I ran toward the voice, and under the dimly lit bridge, in an empty space with nothing but the sound of the trains, Arimura was there.
あなたさえいなければ、私は幸せになれるの。
There was a woman standing in front of her. She was so tired she looked very aged, but she was probably in her early 40s. The woman took something out of her bag.
バイバイ、ひなちゃん。
Oh no, we're gonna rush in front? When the woman started walking toward Arimura, I knew everything. At this rate, Arimura would be killed. But from where I was standing, I couldn't reach her. Damn it! She was right in front of me. Was I just supposed to let her die? Damn it, damn it, damn it!
Arimura!
I screamed as loud as I could, but... The woman didn't hear my voice. She held the blade in front of her and began to run. And so did we. Oh? And then I saw something in the corner of my eye. Oh yeah, we're a psychic. It was... a D-sword. Wait, was she just shot? There was a loud noise, and the woman suddenly recoiled backward. Then she grabbed her ears and fell to her knees. Red drops fell from between her fingers. Was that my power? My power had caused her earrings to move, ripping them out of her ears. But it only held her back for a moment. She glared at Arimura and charged with the blade once more.
Arimura!
Senpai!
I flung myself between them. Up there it is. The sound of a train. The warning bells as the crossing bars lowered. Light and shadow intersecting. And a burning pain. Well, we're dead. I heard footsteps somewhere deep in my head. Arimura's mother had probably come back to her senses after stabbing me, and then run off somewhere. But the pain was so strong that I couldn't look to see.
Arimura.
I must have passed out without realizing it, because the next thing I knew, Arimura was cradling my head in her lap.
先輩、じっとしててください。今、救急車を。
ごめん、有村。
I softly rubbed her cheek. Her pretty pale skin was stained dark red with my blood.
どうして謝るんですか？
あの時、信じてやれなくて。だから。
先輩！
もしも、許してくれるなら、もう、一度。有村。
Was she crying?
私こそごめんなさい。あんな風に飛び出していったりして。
Yeah, you shouldn't have.
先輩は最後まで私のことを。それなのに。
Arimura. Those some big ass fucking drops, dude.
お願い。先輩、死なないで。
Arimura's tears wet my cheeks. The tears fell in great numbers, rolling off my cheeks and hitting the ground.
有村。
But I was all ready.
有村。
Wait, are we actually gonna die?
僕は。
Holy shit, wait a minute. I was just joking. I didn't want that. Oh wait, we're okay. Nice. When I woke up from my sleep, I saw the face of the person I'd been dreaming of and panicked.
あれ、私眠って。宮代先輩。
なんだ、起きたのか？
ごめんなさい。先輩を待ってる間にうとうとしちゃってました。
別にそれくらい気にしなくていいって。
He was always so nice to me. So sometimes I wanted to let him spoil me.
何？
宮代先輩って優しいですよね。
Yeah.
何言ってんだよ急に。僕は別に。
優しいですよ。だってあの時私を助けに来てくれたんですもん。
それは有村が心配だったから。
ねえ先輩。
なんだよ。
痛みます？傷。
まあ時々は。でもこれくらい大したことないし。
ごめんなさい。私のせいで。
だからあれは有村のせいじゃないって何度も言ってるだろ。
やっぱり私のせいです。私の心が弱かったから。だから
有村。
でもね、私気づいたんです。世界は本当か嘘、どちらかで割り切れるものじゃないって。世界には嘘と本当が半分ずつあって、私たちはそれを承知で受け入れていかなきゃいけないんだって。そうじゃなきゃきっと誰も立ち行かなくなってしまうから。
Unless you're a politician, I think like everything is a lie, but
もっと早く
I won't
に
go there.
そう気づいてれば私は。
My mom had been arrested shortly after that. Well, that's good. An officer at a police box had seen her staggering down the street covered in blood and taken her in. She'd lost her mind to the point where they weren't even sure she should stand trial, or she could stand trial, but she'd have to go to some hospital, Shinjo had said. It was her own fault that this had happened to her, but part of it was my fault too. I would have to carry the burden of that truth for the rest of my life.
でも有村は気づいたんだろ。世界は嘘と本当の半分半分でできてるって。
はい。
Unless you're a politician.
だったらもう大丈夫だろ。
Or a
それ
dictator.
さえ分かっていれば前に進んでいけるはずだ。
はい。
Miyashiro would always tell me the path that I need to follow, or needed to follow, so I.
宮代先輩、一つお願いがあるんですけど。
お願い？なんだよ。
キスしてもらってもいいですか？嫌ですか？
嫌じゃないけど。
Isn't Kazuki in this room?
あ、お前今。
その言葉が本当ならいいですよね、キス。
だからそれは。
Oh yeah, she is.
いたの？チェ、だったらもう少しの間だけ見ないふりしててくれればよかったのにな。
だから壁を叩くなって壊れるだろ。
I'm surprised she hasn't yet. I was so close too. Not in this slice of life anime.
タクったらこんなところにいた。今日は復興祭、みんなで行く予定でしょ？
なんだ、有村も一緒か。さては二人して乳くり合ってやがったな。
乳くりって伊藤くん、もうちょっと言い方に気をつけなさい。
Sheesh. It might be a while before I get that kiss at this rate. It is a rom-com after all.
行きましょっか、復興祭。
ああ、うん。
その代わり二人で。
I grabbed his hand and started to run.
だって約束でしょ。ほら行きましょう先輩。
あ、おい、ちょっと。
Oh wait, didn't they agree to go to the festival together? Was that a thing?
二人で抜け駆けずるい。こら、廊下は走っちゃダメよ。
そこかよ。
He was right. As long as I was with him, I could keep going forward. Even in a world of truth and lies. Because when he'd come to save me, I knew what I knew that his feelings were true. So,
ありがとう先輩。
we did it. Is that it? Yep. Yeehaw. Wait, why are we getting a creepy, like... Why? Is the song gonna be loud again? I really hope it isn't. Yep, it's loud. Alright, I'm just gonna share my thoughts after the credits. Okay, cool, I guess you can actually skip the credits. That's always good. November 21st, 2015, Saturday. Trustworthiness investigation company Frisia.
全員揃っているかな。
Shinjo looked around at the assembled group before he spoke. It was a Saturday morning and early. There were still quite a few people here. Momose Katsuko, the CEO of Frisia. Kunasato Mio, a student at Hekiho Academy and the famous K of Shibuya News. Ito Shinji, part of the Hekiho newspaper club. Kidesu Nono. Kazuki Hana. And Onoe Sarika. None of them looked happy to be here. They all had a vague idea of why they'd been brought here, but they still seemed to be afraid of what they were about to hear. Shinjo didn't feel much different. Shinjo slowly began to speak with the same expression of tension on his face as the rest of them.
有村ひなえと宮代拓が見つかった。
What the fuck? Shinjo began to tell them what the police had learned about what had happened between me, Arimura, and her mother on November 4th. Wait, what?
お願い、先輩、死なないで。
After her mom had stabbed me, I was lying on the ground with my head in her lap. Even now, I still remembered how hot her tears had felt.
有村
My consciousness gradually began to fade.
有村僕は
Yeah, that was the last thing that he said. And then in the corner of my eye, I saw her. It was Arimura's mother. I thought she'd left, but she hadn't. All sanity was gone from her eyes. I saw a sharp flash as she raised her hand high above Arimura's head.
有村
With all the strength I had, I pushed Arimura down and covered her with my body. Damn, Takuru's not having a good time here. A burning pain ran down my back. Again and again. Oh yeah, we're totally dead. We are definitely dead here. I don't know what we'd seen just now, but it should have been death, pain. Screams. And laughter. Crazy laughter at that. Mad laughter, yeah, that too. A horn. The sound of a train. Light and shadow. By that time, I didn't even know what was going on. All I knew was the sound of something hitting the ground. The sound of dragging feet. And... Arimura's sobs. I tried to speak, but I felt unbelievably weak. When I finally did, my voice was barely a whisper. But I still used all the strength I had. I had to tell her. I had to tell Arimura. Hmm.
宮代拓郎を刺した後、有村めぐみは血まみれでふらふらと歩いているところを警ら中の警官に確保された。ただ残念ながら彼女は現在でも心神喪失状態で話を聞ける状態ではないようだ。
それで2人は
有村ひなえがその後宮代拓と共に現場から姿を消していたことは知っているな。
Shinjo took their silence as a yes and continued.
どうしたものか。これまで警察がいくら探しても2人を見つけることはできなかった。それが昨日になってようやく発見に至った。2人は例の封鎖されている AH 総合病院の地下室に潜り込んでいたらしい。
What the fuck? The place had been locked up tight. There was no way anyone could find us there. In fact, we'd stayed down there for almost 3 weeks. Who am I talking for?
そんなことより2人は無事なんですよね。
それは
2人についてだが。
Kunasato picked up where Shinjo hesitated. She had already heard, it seemed.
現在有村ひなえは病院に保護されている。発見された当時、彼女の腕の中には宮代宝がいたそうだ。ただ死後2週間以上経過した彼の体はすでにほとんどが腐敗し、一部は白骨化、また遺体の一部は欠損していたらしい。
What the fuck? What the hell, dude? I could see them all gasp.
そして有村ひなえは腐敗した宮代拓の体を大事そうに抱きかかえ、ずっと話しかけていた。
That's right. I died right after that. It was understandable given how many times I'd been stabbed. And the next thing I knew, I was in that hospital. My body was there unmoving and Arimura was holding me. I didn't know how Arimura had gotten it down there, but she'd probably gotten help from her. Her? Oh no, dude. Bro. What the fuck? Arimura was talking to me happily. Can we go back to the other ending? How that kind of went down?
お願いがあるんですけど。
Oh no. She seemed to think she was at school. She kept saying the same thing over and over. I was sure she was hearing my voice as well. No, not just me. Sarika was there, and Kirisu, and Ito, and Kazuki. What she was seeing was...
ひなちゃんには見えてるんだよ。本当の世界が。
That's Sarika for you. She knew exactly what I wanted to say. Yeah, that was the real world. It was the true world that she wanted. And she could hear them. Voices without lies. And I knew. Now that I was a part of her.
Takuru.
Sarika softly touched Kirisu's hand.
そんな顔しちゃダメだよ。だってきっとタクも楽しかったから。
Excuse me?
タク、そうだよね。
Excuse me, dude? Excuse me? Everyone looked out the window and up the sky. How strange. I'm right here. But what Sarika said was right. This was for the best. My voice couldn't reach her anymore. But she had the world she wanted. She had attained a new world, or a world of truth. And she was still whispering in that empty room.
ありがとう、先輩。
Wow. Yeah. Talk about fucked. You know, I would have been totally satisfied with what we had gotten before the credits. But I guess it's a good reminder that, hey, this isn't a slice of life rom-com drama yeehaw type of anime. This is This is fucked and it always will be. And hey, it was nice to see kind of a connection to the main plot there. Kind of. It showed that Sarika is still Sarika. Okay, well, let's go ahead and check the ending list. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. We got a nice chunk taken care of there. That's always good. Alright, so Dark Sky End. That was really depressing, actually. I was gonna make a comment. I guess I can make it now. I wasn't, actually. I was, then I wasn't, and then I guess now I am. So I was going to say, and I guess I now am, Takuru has been killed or something has just gone totally wrong for Takuru in like every ending so far. The Over Sky End, the Dark Sky End, as well as the Common Route bad ending that you can get. Things have just gone wrong for him. And I wasn't gonna make this statement, or I may have, but it wouldn't have fit. If we didn't get that epilogue, but no, we got that epilogue and this totally fits. I wasn't expecting that, because I thought he was just gonna, like, die right there after the stabbing. But nope, he got a little bit more. Survived somehow, kinda, in that place. Holy shit, dude, that was nutty. That was something. Okay, well, I don't know what to really think of that, other than just how fucked that was. And I guess maybe we'll leave it at that? Jesus Christ, dude. Talk about unexpected, but I think that's what this game does really well. It pulls your fucking chain, dude. It pulls your chain. It really makes you think that, you know, you're going in a solid direction, but then it kind of just throws you for a fat loop. And I can appreciate that, because at that point you really don't know what to expect. And that kind of makes me excited for these remaining routes, because I thought we were going into just like one solid direction. I didn't know who the fucking killer was, and I was surprised when we found out. But there was fucking more to that shit than there seemed. Just to connect it all the way around. A big reminder that this is Chaos Child, and not some shitty anime. Not your cliche stuff, I guess you could say. So I, yet again, applaud Chaos Child for that narrative. Holy shit. Or for their ability to tell such a creative narrative as well. So we'll wrap it up for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed this one. It was nice to get another fat episode out. I need to read through the tips. Don't worry, I'll do this. I say I will, and then I never do, but I will. I will very soon. Hopefully. Before at least we get into, like, more routes. I think for the next episode, what we're going to do is we're going to get all the negative delusions. I think that's how you get the bad ending for that route. I don't know how much worse that could get for that route. That was pretty fucking bad. I don't even know if you can say bad in a good way. I don't even know if you could say it was a good ending, but in a bad way. It was just fucked, man. But I think that's what you have to do to get the bad ending. You just choose all the negative delusions. And I'm kind of just, you know, interested. I'm curious. I would like to see what they are. So I think we'll do that for the next episode. Keep it pretty chill. If we have time, we'll jump into another route. I think we can easily jump into another route if we just choose negative on the last delusion with Arimura in one of the classrooms preparing for the festival. I think if we choose negative on that and then positive for the rest, we can get into the next route. And I think there's another route that we can access if we just get all the negative delusions. So we have some choices that we can make. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. So thank you guys again for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe if you'd like to keep up with the episodes as they release. And I will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully it's just a little less fucked, but at this point, who can say? Regardless, I hope to see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.